The Ultra in conversation with Michelle from Royal Daily Tea. Hello, I'm HG Tudor, and it's time for another conversation with, as I, the Ultra, get the views and opinions and observations of other YouTubers in relation to a variety of topics. You've enjoyed the conversations that have taken place so far with Sue Smith, with Stephanie and Nancy Sidley, the Duchess of Narcissus, and Jen from Real Housewives Recaps, along with Andy from Tarot by Andy. But there are plenty more conversations waiting for you to access them and learn more about what fellow YouTubers think about different topics, and to immerse yourself in the conversation that takes place between me and them. Thank you to those of you that continue to provide me with suggestions, both directly by email and in the comments section. I do take note of all suggestions that have been provided. I can tell you that those suggestions from some of you, those individuals are going to be appearing as individuals having conversations with me. Who are they? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You'll find out nearer the time. But in the meantime, I'd invite you to continue with your suggestions, because it's appropriate for me to understand what it is you want to hear about. Who do you want me talking to? Who do you want me to ask questions of? There are more YouTubers in the pipeline. Some of them from the world of the Megxit community, others from other areas linked to narcissism, linked to Scientology, linked to conspiracy theories, and other topics besides. So don't think that it has to be confined to those YouTubers that talk about this one's wife. Widespread is welcomed, so get those suggestions coming in. Also, please note that in relation to some of the people that you suggest, finding contact details for these individuals is somewhat difficult. They don't provide an email address, they don't have direct messaging on Twitter accounts, and therefore it may be somewhat hit and miss to try and draw their attention. And this is where you come in. Whilst I might be in a position to provide a comment that they may see, if many of you are commenting to that particular YouTuber saying, please speak with HG, it'll be a great conversation, here's his email address, narcissist1909@gmail.com, then they will get in contact with me. That has happened in a couple of instances, and there have even been people that have contacted me asking me, I'd really like to be in conversation with you, HG, even though I hadn't asked them. And why not? Accordingly, if you want people to have that conversation with me, you can do your bit by pointing this out to them and inviting them to get in contact with me, which is especially helpful where those individuals don't have appropriate contact details. But coming up, we have Michelle from Royal Daily Tea. And to give you a flavour of that tea, a slurp of that beverage, here are some excerpts from the conversation that took place between us.
Zoom calls where Harry looked like he was locked in a dungeon, and you were like, Harry, blink twice if you need help. Remember those Zoom speeches?
Yeah.
That's when we got introduced to her word salad with a side of chicken, right? And I was like, oh, wow, she really thinks highly of herself. That's when I started. One of the facts is because maybe with my hair is she's American, so people immediately think that all Americans are like that. She made us look bad. Right. I mean, let's be honest. We've had two Americans marry into the British aristocracy, Wallace Simpson and Meghan Markle. So we don't have the best track record. But I'm not one of those people who wants to point fingers and say that Charles was bad or Diana was bad. I don't think they were bad people. They just had a bad circumstance. Okay, because I was thinking about that because I remember, if you remember her, one of her claim to fame was that dish soap commercial.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the stills of the commercial, she had this little stank face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she had this little, you should be so happy to be interviewing my 10-year-old self.
Intriguing observations, I'm sure you will agree. But when are you going to be able to indulge in this conversation? When can you break open the chocolate hobnobs and brew up a pot of tea, or possibly sit down with a glass of your favourite wine, or maybe listen in as you squeeze some oranges for some fresh juice? Well, you'll be able to immerse yourself in this latest conversation between the Ultra and Michelle from Royal Daily Tea on Saturday, the 20th of July at 4 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Central European time, 11 a.m. Eastern time in the United States, 8 a.m. Pacific time in the United States. Mark it in your diary, make sure you're available, and you can enjoy another conversation involving the Ultra and a favoured YouTuber. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.